was the electoral body's submission when its ex parte motion seeking an order of the appeal court on Abuja permitting it to reconfigure the machines was heard, assuring that the said data have been saved at the machine's back end. Despite this assurance by INEC, counsel to PDP's Atiku Abubakar and Labour Party's Peter Obi, through their counsel, remained far from being convinced.
They have not said that what we told them, what we have enforced by our expert, that is not a position. We countered it. They have not filed further affidavit to say that yes, because what we did, we assured them, and indeed the court, that no data will be lost in the process of progression, because our cloud will store all the data of the accreditation of February 25th presidential election.
Atiku Abubakar says he won the election. Atiku Abubakar and PDP, they say that if you reconcile the result sheets that they have from emanating from the polling units, if you reconcile it with the content of the Beavers machine, that it will be very obvious that he won the election. Now, INEC that conducted that election and refused to upload it on the day of election has said that the only primary source of Atiku's inquisition, that it should be flushed out so that they will reconfigure the machines for the election on Saturday. So you can now begin to see where the game is going to. And we're saying no.
They intend to wipe out the accreditation data captured for the presidential election, and that is really huge. My experience in the Osun State election was that the upload to the back-end server, especially the one that was obtained earlier, did not contain all the information. Now, in order to get the real information on accreditation,
Meanwhile, the appeal court has fixed Wednesday, March 8 to deliver ruling on APC candidate Bola Tinubu's request for an order of the court allowing him access to sensitive materials used by INEC for the conduct of the presidential election. At the court session, Tinubu, through his lawyer, Akintola Makinde, said he would need to inspect, scan, and make photocopies of some of the electoral materials to enable him prepare his defense against petitions that will seek to nullify his election. The three-member panel of the appellate court will also continue hearing on the motion of the PDP and Labour Party. Godfrey Eshemoge, Arise News.
A lot to talk about.
Yes, a lot to talk about, and I'll keep it very simple and straight to the point. So the Beavers, before the election, was said to be the game changer. In 2019, January 7, when the INEC chairman, Professor Yakub, introduced it as what is potentially going to change the way that elections are won in Nigeria, especially in the area of reducing or minimizing or perhaps eradicating, if possible, election malpractice. Unfortunately, as we saw during the elections, it became almost ineffective because of the many challenges, the myriads of problems that Beavers encountered. However, we've now seen that following post the presidential election, Beavers is still going to be the game changer. It is the one that the three main political parties or frontliners are courting in terms of wanting to inspect ahead of building their case in the electoral tribunal. INEC has also been thrown into the ring, and the report today, of course, is that today the Court of Appeal will rule. So we cannot preempt the court. However, we can still look at some aspects of this case to talk about it. Yesterday, we shared as to why the importance of the inspection of election materials, Beavers being very key to this. Speaking technically, we talked about what it means to reconfigure. It means to change the settings or to reformat a setting, particularly because INEC said there had been some technical glitches and a number of hackers had tried to gain access to the servers on Saturday. Therefore, ahead of the gubernatorial elections and State House of Assembly elections on Saturday, they needed to look at the machine and reconfigure. The issue here, as we talked about, is that if they do reconfigure, there is a real chance of them wiping out important data that will be material to the case of the two actors in terms of the Labour Party and the PDP presidential candidate. And therefore, they're asking that INEC should not look at, reconfigure the system ahead of Saturday. Now, the presidential candidate of the APC, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, president-elect actually, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has also asked to inspect. The question then you wonder is, what does he want to, what is he looking for on the Beavers machine that would perhaps support his case or negate what the other two are bringing before the courts? As we've called on INEC, despite the many criticisms of the way they handle the elections, not just by local actors, but international observers as well, there's still an opportunity to redeem themselves in the way that they ensure that, as they've asked the political parties to seek redress in the courts, that they allow the process to be as fair and credible as possible, and to aid this process, one of which is to ensure that they're not partial and that they're able to support. What people have called for, which I still maintain, is if it means having two, even though that's in the list, we don't want that, postponing the elections, for the credibility of this process, so that we are not having issues post-elections, let them do it.
On Friday last week, the Court of Appeal, sitting as the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, gave an order allowing the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, and the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party permission to access the records, the data, the possession of INEC with regard to the presidential election of February 25. Again for Peter Obi had said, look, the data in the Beavers constitute the actual results from the polling units, and that they will not just inspect the data, they will also need to get certified true copies of the data as put on Beavers. The same argument was put forward by the People's Democratic Party lead counsel, Emeka Itiaba, SEA. On Tuesday, INEC approached the court, asking the Court of Appeal to vary the order that it gave on Friday, to the effect that it should be allowed to reconfigure the Beavers ahead of the gubernatorial and state houses of assembly election scheduled for Saturday, March 11. Anemu Inuwa, counsel for INEC, made the argument that INEC will need a minimum of about 5 days to be able to reconfigure, and that if it is not allowed to do so, this will affect the conduct of the polls on Saturday, March 11. The court then decided that the ruling will be given on the matter today. So what is likely to happen? If the court rules that there should be reconfiguration, and INEC says it needs 5 days, what will be the implication? Does it mean that the Saturday elections will be postponed? That is the big issue that Nigerians have to worry about. The second issue is how Beavers has become the big issue. Everybody has complained about what happened with Beavers. INEC had promised before the election that there will be real-time online loading of results from Beavers to IREV, the two technological devices that it promised Nigeria. It failed on that day. The third point here, however, is what are the IT experts saying? The IT experts are saying that INEC does not need to reconfigure anything before Saturday, and that INEC is just giving an excuse that cannot stand. INEC, however, has gone a step further to say that the reconfiguration that is asking the court to grant will not affect the integrity of data, where the average Nigerian out there does not believe that. Many Nigerians who are convinced that that election was marred by irregularities would not give INEC the benefit of the doubt. That their lordships would pronounce on the matter today. It's not just that case, they are also going to look at the APC presidential candidate, now president-elect of Nigeria, approaching the court also with his lawyers to be given access also to examine the data, the same data that PDP and Labour Party had asked to be given access to. So what is likely to happen will be very serious legal battle on the PDP, on the APC side alone. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu alone has over 40 lawyers already lined up, led by Chief Wole Olanipekun SEA, and also the party, the APC, has also lined up about 12 lawyers, SEA, all SEA, led by Latif Fagbemi, SCN. And then you have Ikpeazu in the matter, you have Emeka Etiaba in the matter. Well, interesting days ahead at the Court of Appeal for the presidential election petition tribunal.
Yesterday I talked about, I think it was the day before yesterday, I talked about Ralph Waldo Emerson saying, what you say, what you do speaks so loud I can hear what you say. And that is what is playing out currently in the case as we see today. INEC is trying to get a cover now that will be ruled on today to vary the ex parte hitherto given to the two political parties. The APC has also jumped in the fray. Technically speaking, one thing is certain. There is no how we touch the beavers as we speak today and will not alter what is on it. That's what experts say. There is no how. And the question is, do they even need to reconfigure in the first place? I know some people have made the argument, oh, they reconfigure the card reader. But this is the beavers. Do they need to reconfigure? Isn't the outlay different? Thirdly, in all of this, we forget in a hurry what happened in Osun. That the beavers machine itself is needed in all of this. So you must not touch what is on it. Because the lawyers that got the first report for the beavers transfer report, that first requested the reports, got something entirely different from what the other lawyers that requested it got. The APC lawyers got something entirely different. Because the beavers had not finished uploading results. And in that Osun Election Petition Tribunal, because that case is sort of going to be a locus classical as regards anything beavers, because that's the first case where you're going to test beavers in this country, in the law court. That case also showed that the lawyers, fortunately, Ikpeazu was on the side of Adeleke on that case, had to request the hard beavers itself to be able to inspect themselves, to be able to get more data sets. So when you go ahead and say you want to reconfigure it, then a lot of people start to look at you in a suspect manner. And that's why we should watch it in this country. I think we've talked about the blackmail. Nobody should even come and hoodwink us with the blackmail on anything. The conversation should be about the integrity of those items. And in the eyes of the law, those items are already called property. That's why INEC has to go to court to seek an injunction to vary those orders. And it also behoves on the judiciary as they go for this process. They should remember Nigerians are watching them. And Nigerians want justice and integrity. And most of the judges are leaving in a couple of months from now. What would they want to be remembered by? And only to think that Chatham House has already said, INEC didn't even abide by the process. It means we've got to disgrace ourselves in Chatham House. We told them we're going to do something, they're not doing what we said we're going to do. So there are many varying issues, and let's look at this. But most importantly, let's go to today. We'll take a short break. When we return, we'll have Michael.